voiceover LVC. That is our topic for this morning. Good morning. First of all, my apologies. I'm running 15 minutes behind my normal time. And here's my doctor's excuse. Actually, I had a session that I just finished, and this is a great client, and they wanted to do 8:30 Central Time this morning, so 8:30 Central Time this morning it was, which is what got me thinking about LVC, which we're going to talk about in just a second. First of all, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Matt just jumped on. He said first person to comment in the chat this morning. Matt, congratulations. You're the first on the chat this morning. I love it when you guys share your comments, your name, where you're watching or listening from this morning. And of course, I appreciate so much those of you who have subscribed. I won't make any bones about it. I want to juice this algorithm as much as we can to get this out to as many people as we possibly can. And when you subscribe, when you comment, when you like, when you share, all that stuff just helps. So thank you so much for that. And I know so many of you have. And I can see you piling in to the live stream now. Thank you for being here. And again, I just finished up I had to do a session this morning, and it was just some pickups on a script in which the client had a wrong pronunciation for company name, and we just had to go back and redo some paragraphs. Wasn't a big deal. But it got me thinking, because I thought, well, you know what, I'm superseding doing my YouTube video at my regular time to do this. Why? Well, yeah, it's a paid voiceover job, but I wouldn't do it just for any client, by the way. The reason I'm doing it for this client is because this is a client of mine. They're out on the East Coast. I've been doing stuff for them, I don't even know for how many years, maybe a decade. They're a client that has provided me with consistent, ongoing work. We do a Source Connect session, gosh, almost every week now. You know, it's crazy. And which brings us to LVC. LVC equals, it's the lifetime value of a customer. In all my years as a full-time voiceover pro, which is 17 years now, I have never heard anybody else, which shocks me. I've never heard it mentioned by anyone else, another talent or another coach, again, which is absolutely surprising to me. Because if you want to build a career in voiceover, or really in any business where you have to go out and get your customers, get your clients, and to sell yourself or your product or your service, you better have a pretty good idea of what the lifetime value of that customer is. What I find in voiceover is that most voiceover talent have been conditioned by the coaching industry, by the institution of voiceover, to focus on jobs. It's like, okay, I want to get this job. What's the value of this job? How many dollars can I get for this job? Is this job worth it? Well, not that that's a bad question to start with, but then at some point you've got to take your focus from this to, you got to back up a little bit. You got to look at it, give it the 10, 20, 30,000 foot view and say, okay, what does this mean to me over the long haul? Because I'll tell you this, the client that I just did the session with, they're not my top pay client. That doesn't mean they pay poorly. No, they pay fairly. But compared to some of my other clients, it's not all that high. But I will tell you this, a couple of things. Number one, these guys are great to work with. They're just easy to work with. They are pros. Everything's always prepared ahead of time. They go to great lengths to make sure that the experience for the talent and for their client on the other end goes as smoothly as possible. And so it makes these sessions easy. We're very efficient with our use of time. And above and beyond all of that, they come back to me over and over and over again. I would rather have a client that pays okay, but is great to work with and uses me on a consistent basis than to land one huge job and be one and done. Because what I'm looking for is a handful of clients, a group of clients that, and I do have that, a group of clients that use me on a regular basis that are great to work with. Now, the other side of that coin is sometimes some clients just aren't worth it. They are not worth the hassle. And it's not because they're not paying enough necessarily. They could be paying you a lot, but they're not worth the hassle over the lifetime value, over the lifetime value. I mean, as a matter of fact, I've got a client right now. I will not mention names. I think this will probably be my last time that I work with them. I'm just done because they're never ready. They view voiceover as a dynamic process. It's a back and forth. It's not like, okay, I've prepared the script, here it is. It's like, okay, well, let's do this. Now let's change it. Now let's do that. And it's always back and forth. It's very inefficient. It makes the value of that go down, not just in dollars, but just because it's a frustrating process. So, and that doesn't mean clients, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Clients come back and they need things, and that's all fine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like an outlier, somebody that's extremely that way. And so looking at it over the duration of a career, is it worth my time and my energy? No, it's really not. It doesn't happen all the time, but occasionally it does. And in those times, I just have to politely dismiss myself from that relationship. Because voiceover relationships are not that much different than any other relationship. For a relationship to work, both parties need to be adding value to that relationship. If you're in a relationship and the other person has a negative, like a deficit, they're always running at a deficit and you're running at a positive. It's hard to maintain that kind of relationship. At some point, most people say, you know what, this is ridiculous. Why am I investing myself? And you're just sucking the energy right out of this thing. Now, by the way, I'm not trying to give you marriage counseling right now. Sometimes our own perception of things can be really skewed. So, you need to be talking to a good therapist about that, because sometimes we're the issue and we think it's the other person, or usually it has to do with both people. But I'm talking about in a business context. It's just, if they're too much hassle, it's just not worth it. The point is simply this. Don't be looking at jobs like this. How much money can I get out of it? What's it worth? What can I squeeze out of this? No, you got to back up and say, what's the value of this customer's relationship with me over this year, next year, over the next 5 years, 10 years, over the next 20 years, over the life of my career? What's the value? Because it is so much easier and more profitable to cultivate work with an existing client than going out and finding new work all the time. Not that you don't need to find new work, of course you do. But you don't want to have to find a new job every time you need to make a few dollars. That is a hard way to do it. You need clients that come back to you and over and over and over again. So, be a good partner to them. Add value to that relationship. It's not all on them. It's on you as well. But, take the clients that are great to work with, they are easy to work with, and they use you on a regular basis. Treasure them, value them, give them all you've got, because they're the money in your pocket long term. And that's why, in a nutshell, I was doing that session just a few minutes ago. So it's not about voiceover jobs. It's about the lifetime value of a customer. All right, well, let's see what's happening in the live stream chat. I see we've got lots of comments, lots of folks. Again, thanks for being here. Matt was first. Greg was second in Asheville, North Carolina. Aaron in Columbia, Missouri. Jack in Phoenix. Ralph, what's happening in Cedar Falls, Iowa? We've got Sacramento in the house. Let's see. Matt says, got humbled by listening to my voice work after finally setting the studio up. LOL. In Kansas City. Yeah, I rarely have met somebody who loves their voice. People who love their voice generally, I'm always a little suspect of that, because I've heard plenty of people who really thought they were God's gift, and they simply weren't. It's kind of like it's American Idol syndrome. Sometimes if you really think you should, maybe you shouldn't be. You need to re-examine that. But most people that I know, myself included, when I first heard my voice, was not impressed in the least. It takes a while to get used to it because we don't hear ourselves the way other people hear us. Corey celebrating Taco Tuesday today from Whitehall, Wisconsin. Hey, JL in Oregon, how are you? Good morning. Patrick in Maryland, working on a project that he got from ACX Audible today. Fantastic. Awesome. Barb, good morning to you in Ann Arbor. Jared, good morning. Denise in Long Island. Michael in Boise. John, Rhinebeck, New York. David, Asheville, North Carolina. Bradford in Simpsonville, South Carolina. How you doing? Ron in Charleston, South Carolina. Corey. Charleston always has a great representation on the daily voiceover huddle. Corey, how are you doing in Middle Point, Ohio? Ed West Slope of Mount Hood, Rhododendron, Oregon. David in Lexington, Kentucky. Tess, how are you doing in Tequila, Georgia? Jerry, what's up in Palm Springs? He says, it's hot. I would imagine because here in the Chicago area, we're actually going to get up near 80 today. Maybe we'll hit 80, but I know we've got I think the next 3 or 4 days we're supposed to hit the low 80s, which I am very much looking forward to. I want to squeeze as much good weather out of this season as I possibly can. Greg is in Winnipeg. Good morning. Sandra, how are you doing? Sandra says, I thought I missed you. No, Sandra, sorry about that. I mentioned it yesterday, but not everybody heard me mention it. So I apologize for those that I kind of threw a curveball by having to be late this morning. Amanda, struggling with recording software here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Well, Amanda, usually YouTube is a great resource, and usually the manufacturer of your DAW has great training as well. And keep this in mind, you don't need to understand everything there is to know about your DAW. It's like working in Microsoft Word. It's said most people use 5 to 10% of all the functionality available. Same thing in your DAW for voiceover. Just a few things you need to know, and once you figure out what those are and you learn them well, you're golden, and it doesn't take that long to learn. Rob, how you doing in San Francisco? Mike in Lower Alabama, also referred to as L.A. Speaking of Alabama, I started watching the documentary again about Muscle Shoals, the Muscle Shoals recording studio down there. I've watched that. This might be my 3rd or 4th time watching that. So much of the music, the soundtrack of my life was recorded in this tiny little studio in this nowhere town in Alabama, Muscle Shoals. And they became world renowned, working with, all the big names in music. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story that this studio away from the music business in this small town in southern Alabama did such amazing things. Check it out. It's on Netflix? Or maybe, no, I think you can watch it free on YouTube right now. Just Google Muscle Shoals. Sandra, Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's see here. The VO industry anointed gatekeepers seem to be barking pretty loud lately about newbies. Oh, man, that's been going on ever since I've been around. There are people who it's in their best interest for you not to be involved and to succeed. You know what really, here's the thing, it doesn't hurt them at all because it's such a growing industry. There's plenty for everyone. And so it's ridiculous to be territorial like that. But yet there are people, that's just what they do. JR in Austin, Andrew in Calgary, how you doing? Doug, how are you in Greensboro, North Carolina? Rob, what's up? Just finished a session here in Loveland. Fantastic. Glad you could make it. Terry, good morning, Bill from Falston, Maryland. There's nothing like quality repeat clients. Boy, you got that right, Terry. They're the best. Denise, awesome points, Bill. Thanks for identifying the key traits of my ideal client and ideal experience. You're welcome, Denise. Sandra says, happy Tuesday, Bill. Not Tuesday, but Tuesday. That's good because you've got the power to do exactly that, Sandra, in Cape Town, South Africa. Thanks for being here. Good morning, Marie here from Texas. Thank you for sharing. Oops, it moved on me. The stream moved on me, telling me I need to move faster. Let me back up. Where are we at? Thank you for sharing the yays and nays when it comes to this sort of thing. It's so important for it to work on both ends. Yeah, it is. It's not just about us. Performers, we're so good about making it about us. We become the centers of our own universe. And I see that attitude leak out in so much advice that's given. It's got to work on both sides or it doesn't work at all, at least not for any length of time. Johnny in Marietta, Atlanta area, great advice. He says, as you stated, this is for any business. It helps me with my locksmith business, which I do full-time and voiceover part-time. Yeah, Johnny, yeah, absolutely. Yes, this is just good business advice, generally speaking, regardless of what your service is. So, yeah, all the best to you there. Rob says, it's Talk Like a Pirate Day. Arg. I'm recording some fun birthday greetings and a message to send out to my direct marketing list. Fantastic. I didn't realize it was Talk Like a Pirate Day. Wally, good morning to you in Maryland. Jared, hello. Sarah, good morning to you. Welcome. Alexander, good afternoon to you in London. Hope you're doing well. I want to get out your way sometime soon, Alexander. I have yet to visit the UK. Have yet to visit it, but I want to do that. There is there's several places I want to visit, but there is Fox Brothers. It's where Winston Churchill used to buy his cigars. I want to visit there. They actually have some memorabilia there, including Winston Churchill's old leather chair. I want to go sit in that. Maybe even smoke a cigar. Sarah, hello to you in Moore, Oklahoma. Sarah says it's hard to edit because my voice is intolerable to myself. Well, Sarah, hang in there. Hang in there. You'll get used to it. After a while, you'll block out what you need to block out and hear what you need to hear. Hey, Bo, how are you in New Jersey? Liz in Northern Illinois. Yeah, well, thank you, Liz. Hey, Mike. Hello in Calgary. Theo, good morning from downtown Chicago, where yesterday's clouds over the lake are now on top of the city as it slowly drizzles down. Theo, thank you for sharing those well-crafted words this morning. Love it. Sarai got her first audiobook production. She started day before yesterday. Oh, well, thank you for your kind words, and congrats on that. When you're doing these live videos, how far off the mic are you? Same as I am when I'm doing regular voiceovers, about the length of my pinky to my thumb, about 8 inches. Let's see here. Who have I not said hi yet to? I think I got everybody on here. Guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Have a great and a wonderful day. Thanks for your patience. And I expect to be on time tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.